Greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I am Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is The Frozen Soul, the Monday night story arc in our Waking Nightmares campaign of Don't Rest Your Head, a game by Fred Hicks of Evil Hat Productions. This is a supernatural horror game in which the Insomniac characters have been awake for so long they've developed strange abilities and can freely interact with a realm of living nightmares. We're going to go ahead and go around and say hi to everyone, find out who they are and who they're playing. And once again, we will start with Nash. Hello.
Hi. My name is Nash. I do things on the internet occasionally. Tonight, I am playing Lana, the former district attorney who had a lot of stuff happen in their not so distant past. And now they're back in the Mad City. They've turned into Lila, for better or worse.
That's a couple letters here and there. And now we shall move on to James, or Jimbeaux.
Hey, I'm Jimbeaux. I'm playing Cole McManus, a ex-football player from Ireland who is very, very sure, no matter what anyone tells him, that he's just wildly hallucinating everything that's going on.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I'm sure everything's going to be fine. Excellent. Excellent. And now we will head over to Celeste. Hello.
Muted myself when I meant to unmute myself. I love that. Love that for me. Hi, I'm Celeste PLS with way too many underscores on Twitter. I'm Celeste Shepherd here on Twitch. Don't do a whole lot. I'm streaming on my own, but here I am. I'm playing Jeremy Gray. Jay Gray. Almost slipped up there. And he is an overworked wedding planner who is in way over his head and way out of his depth and really just wants to go home, but he sort of feels kind of a sense of obligation, especially now that he's found out that his assistant who's been missing is probably here in the Mad City, and he feels an obligation to get her out. So, you know, time to do that, I guess.
Yeah. Probably. You're currently cleft in twain, correct? You're still.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jay is currently utilizing his madness power to be in two places at once. His split personas are Jay and Maya. Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. It's one of those. I think I accidentally calling the other half Mia before, and I apologize for that.
I've been also been waffling on the pronunciation, but the intention of it is for it to sound like the two portions of his name.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremiah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Cool. And now finally we'll head over to Rrok. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. I am Rock and Roll, and I will be playing Dustin, an artist who's kind of hit a little bit of a issue with creativity and has been regularly visiting the Mad City in order to get those little sparks of creativity that push him forward.
Yes.
So.
Yes. They're delightful, aren't they? And so inexpensive. It hardly costs anything. But, you know, who knows? Where am I? Oh, yes, there I am. Before we dive in, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic. Or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for discussions of physical and mental debilitation, insomnia, death, law enforcement, nightmares, body horror, addiction, being stalked and chased by supernatural beings, and other horrific themes. The game has mechanics related to states arising from sleep deprivation, referred to in-game as exhaustion, madness, scars, and fight-or-flight responses, but places the expression of those states squarely in the hands of the players. If you want to see that, if you're watching on Twitch, and you want to see that listed again, you can go into the chat and type !DRYHCW, that's for Don't Rest Your Head content warning, and that will pop up. That also will come up regularly on rotation. Finally, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, where did we leave off? Ah, yes. So, last time, Dustin's Spark dealer provided them with a little more information about where the ice that had been used that Dustin ended up using for sculpture came from. The reason Dustin needed to know this is because something came out of the ice and kidnapped somebody, and so they're now trying to find this person, this friend of theirs. His name's Leo. He has a tattoo of a candle wick on his arm, which means that perhaps he's connected to the Wax King. We don't know. Though that be happening, they determined that they found out that the person who sold the ice was a water-based person, a person who is made of water, named Liquid Lou, and that he operates most of the time out of the Garden District in the Mad City. And they decided, okay, well, let's go and find out more from this person, see if we can figure out where our kidnapped friend went. Their friend, by the way, I should specify, their friend was kidnapped by a different nightmare that is some kind of red knight. And the Red Knight released the being out of the ice during a wedding reception. So they've gone to the Garden District. The Garden District is teeming with vegetable life forms. Essentially, it is. There are many sort of anthropomorphic artichokes and potatoes and tomatoes and carrots. Lots of carrots in this area that they're in particular because they're the chief vegetable in the in their particular mob. But the particular mob also employs the veggie mob also employs cabbages and zucchini. We know that much at least. Perhaps others, we're not sure. We'll probably find out. But it is members of this mob that are currently bearing down the pub in which our characters currently are. They took Lou to this pub to ask him, in good cop, bad cop fashion, about his supplier and where he got the ice. Lou explained that the ice floats downriver from the Shadow District, and he collects it for an arrangement that he has with a group that he refers to as the Eyes, who apparently operate north of the river. Well, north. Outward on the outside of the river. The outward side. The geography of the Mad City is difficult to explain. But thankfully, they have just purchased a couple of maps. They'll be good at least for the next hour. Mad City changes, usually at the 13th hour. It is currently a bit after 12. So, and I think it was at the strike of 12 was when they started to see, if I remember right, members of the Veggie Mob coming toward the pub. You folks, by the way, should be able to now see the maps in the handouts in Roll20, should you desire to look at them. But in any case... Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about the map? Is it safe to assume the gray line going through it is the river? That the ice is coming down?
Nothing is safe, but yes.
Okay. Well, fair.
Yes, that gray line represents the river. And then, so you've got a map of that, and you've got a map of the subway system. It doesn't show exactly where the stops are, but it's, the stops are fairly frequent. That said, yeah, so members of this mob, these a lot of very large, angry-looking carrots, wide eyes, are walking toward the pub. Behind them is rolling into view a very large cabbage that takes up a good portion, takes up like two sidewalks worth at least. It's not a massive cabbage like some other folks may have seen in previous visits to the Garden District, but it is still pretty big. You cannot see its face currently. It is in the process of rolling. So, you're there. You've got Lou in the booth. Veggie Mob members are rolling up to the pub. What would you like to do?
We're about to have incoming. We probably want to move.
Yes. Is there a back entrance that I can see?
I would say that...
Okay, continue.
I don't know.
I could use my madness talent.
Would there be a back entrance in a place like this? I would say there's not a back entrance you can see from here. There might be one.
Okay.
Is the pub that we're in, is it a single story or is there a second story?
Single story. Not a big pub. It's sort of a smaller.
Right.
Because you cannot see the back entrance from here, you surmise that it is probably through the the part that is not accessible to customers. Generally.
I was gonna say, when does that stop anymore?
I mean, yeah, when does it?
Is there a kitchen that we can see?
Like there's the bar area goes in, so it's probably there. There's probably a way into a kitchen or something else behind the bar.
Okay. That makes sense.
So
There
are
is-
you telling me that we should be afraid of carrots and cabbage?
Yes.
We can eat
Sentient
them,
carrots and cabbage. Absolutely.
The lead
mean,
carrot
cabbage
has
is
reached
good.
the front door.
Jay and Maya are gonna post up on either side of the door and start beckoning the others to try and get out of here.
The front door?
No, like not the front door. He wants them. I'm posting up by the front door.
Mhm.
Both
Oh,
of
okay.
me. I'm urging the rest of them to get out of here. Like
Okay.
through the back or whatever. Try to find another way out. I'm gonna try to hold them up, distract them, because I just checked off my fight response. So
Yes, that is
that's
true.
where my head's at right now.
Yes. Brimming with adrenaline. The way this putt is laid out, by the way, just so you're aware, there is no thing you can lift up to go behind the bar. The bar is flush with the edge of the bar is flush with the wall. There is a door, however, in the wall that presumably leads behind the bar. The artichoke behind the bar does not appear to be at all alarmed as of yet. He's just sort of standing up and noting, sort of like how they're coming in.
There is also just vault over the bar and hope for the best.
There could also be that option, depending on how one wishes to do this.
I mean, we could also consider the possibility that they're just coming in for a drink and have absolutely nothing to do with us or Liquid Blue.
I mean, yes.
The lead carrot has opened the front door and is in the process of stepping in.
I'm gonna just
We were-
stand there nonchalant and wait.
Were
Hoping
we sitting
they-
at a table or in a booth?
Booth.
Okay. I'm staying in the booth because I'm assuming the booth has a table.
Yes.
Okay. And
Uh,
any
The side of the booth is
usual-
up against the wall, just so you're aware.
Right. But is it part of the wall, or is it just like it's a loose table that they've pushed up against the wall?
It's been pushed
like
up against
kind
the
that you
wall.
can-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the table and booth both are pushed up against the wall. They are not attached
Okay.
to the wall or indeed each other. This place is not that fancy.
I'm just going to stand up and myself so that if they do approach the booth, I'm between them and Lou.
Dustin's gonna take a moment and just kind of like let's try not to draw a lot of attention tonight. The last thing that we really need is the Veggie Mafia and Officer Talk and his goons. So
This is
everybody
Mafia.
just play real chill.
Hey, I'm just here for a quiet drink.
Yeah, see? Sit down, we'll remain seated, we'll have a drink.
Oh no, I'm stretching my legs a bit. Just want to stand.
The carrots are filing in, one by one. They're kind of, as a couple of, as like the second or third one comes in, they kind of are, I think he probably looks to one side and sees Jay and just sort of gives him a look.
What kind of look?
You know the this is our turf look.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. That's
just
the
gonna, like,
look.
I'm gonna do that, the
Yeah.
the nod.
The nod.
you know.
Yeah.
I see you. Like,
I'm just there. They don't know that I'm with the rest of the group.
Yeah, no,
I'm
they
just
don't.
here.
They don't. They don't.
Both of me, we're just here.
They come in. The cabbage cannot enter through the front door, so it is currently staying outside, rolling back and forth.
Menacingly.
A menacingly rolling
Just
cabbage.
rolling there. Menacingly.
You can. It's like you can hear it kind of rolling up and down the sidewalk just in front of the pub. You know, that sort of.
Like a fleshy boulder.
Just back and forth. Good God, I've got to hang on. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Let me see here. You can go with that. Yeah, sorry, grabbing things randomly. As I pull things out of whole cloth. Let's see. Yes. So the lead carrot will come up, sort of nod to the asparagus behind the bar, and like evening, Jack, and Jackson the asparagus nods and says, "This will say, evening, Gus. How's it going? Everything all right?" Yes. I don't know. Is everything all right here? I got not a lot of business, but right now. But I expect it's going to pick up shortly. What with it having gone 12. Yeah. I would guess so. And he's gonna sort of turn, and his gang members have sort of filed into place where you can kind of tell at this point, as they're moving forward, they are trying to now make kind of a semicircle around in the area of the booth, as they are kind of they've spotted Lou, and they're like they're somewhat aggressively moving to take up positions.
They have not made, other than moving in an aggressive manner, they haven't done anything aggressive, correct?
Not especially. They look menacing. Some of them are carrying chains. Some of them are carrying, just sort of like, one of them has a baseball bat. Crowbar, the usual things.
I'm gonna make eye contact with Colm.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna nod, like I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait for him to make a move.
They haven't done
Nods
anything.
back. And Colm nods back, puts a hand on a chair.
And
Okay. So,
mhm.
baseball bat and chains. So these carrots are looking more like street hoodlums more than like, respectable mafia.
It does seem to, it is looking like that, yes.
Okay.
These are not like 30s era Chicago gangsters, exactly.
Okay.
But the lead carrot will turn. And it wasn't asparagus, it was an artichoke. Have I been saying there's an asparagus behind the bar? I do apologize. There's an artichoke behind the bar. It's very important. His name is Jackson, however.
Okay.
Jackson the artichoke. Jackson the artichoke bartender. Anyway,
Okay.
no, so the lead carrot, who Jackson the artichoke bartender referred to as Gus, is has moved toward is now turning and moving in the direction of the booth. And is just going to kind of look everyone up and down, just be like, and just say, "Hey, Lou, these folks giving you any trouble?" And Lou is like, no, everything's fine. Everything's just fine. He appears to be, he's made of water, so he doesn't sweat, but he kind of gives the impression of someone who is visibly sweating.
Just having a quiet drink, Gus.
Oh yeah. You just sort of will. So this is basically. So Colm, this the interaction that is taking place here is one with which I feel you are not entirely unfamiliar. This is the.
Well, I didn't want to leave the pub. This is like,
Yeah.
favored terrain for Colm.
Yeah. So, this is basically the. That there is a lot in the first few seconds of any sort of interaction like this that is unspoken but is communicated. So basically, and involves stance, it involves all manner of things, and just sort of the way you speak, that kind of thing, as far as to like sort of see if there's going to be to indicate how much of a threat is this right now, and are we about to fight? So my question to you is: are you trying to avoid a fight right now in any sense?
Colm's demeanor right now, specifically towards Gus, is, if you start something, I'm going to make a fool of you in front of all of your friends.
Ah, excellent. Okay, so this is the quiet quiet invitation to intimidation. And so, let's see. Gus is a bruiser. Let me look at the... let me look at my vegetable chart. As their leader, he is a he is a pain of 5. So that is the pain of this interaction. I feel as though it would be appropriate if you wish to use hooliganism on this, just given everything. But it is up to you as to whether you wish to use it majorly or minorly.
Could you help refresh what the difference is?
Yes. So do you have, first off, do you have any exhaustion right now?
Yes, I have 2.
Okay. So if you use if it's a minor use of your talent, it's because hooliganism is your exhaustion talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The minor use means you do not have to increase your exhaustion before you roll. It means that you will have. Wait a moment. I have a handy note here. I'm going to press. There we go. Minor use. You're going to count all of the exhaustion dice as successes, basically. I would still ask you to roll them, because I need to see what's dominating. But regardless of what it says on the die, they will be counted as successes. That's kind of how that works. Major use means you have to spend. You have to increase your exhaustion beforehand, but it means that you get. Not only do you have the. Do you add a number of successes to your total as you have exhaustion dice, but then you also count whatever is on the exhaustion dice. So there's a possibility of, like, doubling or what have you up to that anyway. In the exhaustion pool as far as successes go. But again, that does mean becoming more exhausted. But it's up to you to decide which way you want to do this. So that
if it helps influence your decision, Jimbeaux, my intention was to help out with this.
Okay. I'm going to use minor use because my permanent exhaustion is already at 2, and I don't feel like making it go higher this early in things.
Actually, just going to press that again so that I know which one we're doing. Okay. All right. So yes, and Jay can help out because Jay is also doing the standing there. Doing the same thing, basically. Trying to. And so we just count Jay's discipline toward this. But yeah, so if you go minor use, you'll have at least your 2 exhaustion. Well, we'll count as successes.
Okay, and I'm going to throw a madness die in there too. Just
okey-doke. Okay. So, right now, you have a total of 2, 4, 5 successes.
Mm-hmm.
I shall roll pain. Which, I mean, I'm only rolling 5 pain. So, I have 4 successes. So, you just beat me. Let's see what's dominating. Looks like exhaustion is in fact dominating. So you are successful. Or your successes are greater than mine. But this is tiring. So please increase your exhaustion by 1. That goes for both Colm and Jay because Jay was helping.
Okay, good to know.
And this is it's very tiring to just sort of maintain this. So there's a moment, it's like, where nothing is said. And after a moment, Gus will kind of nod, which is very strange to see because it's a carrot. He does not have a head separate from his body, but it's sort of a little dip, and he will kind of just sort of nod, and he'll say, "You folks new in town?"
Just stopping in for a drink with a friend.
And he just sort of looks back at Lou. You let us know if anything, if they give you any trouble, okay? Lou's like, yeah, no, I'll definitely let you know. Thank you.
Holm actually kind of chuckles under his breath. Let us know. Yeah, let us see what you said there.
And he's just like, what?
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right. And he just kind of like shakes, kind of shakes his head, which is also weird to see because it's a carrot and he doesn't have a head. But it's sort of there's an equivalent this way, so sort of the body twitches, and he'll head over to the bar, and he will order a round of ales for his gang, and they will proceed to come in and start taking up seats for a little bit.
Sit back down again.
You can see that Lou is very nervous right now. He's trying to speak very quietly. Is there anything else? No?
Well, Dustin, this is your you were the one who was looking for some ice. This is your go.
Jim, remind me, we learned.
Oh yes, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so you learned things.
Right.
So, the things of possible interest here. Lou fishes the ice out from a sort of trap area set up on the other side of the river by people he calls the Eyes, and they kind of they get a cut, but that's all he knows about that. They kind of encourage him to distribute the ice. He delivers and he delivers ice all around the city, but primarily works from here. The source of the ice is probably the Shadow Crone, because or something to do with the Shadow Crone, because it comes from the Shadow District. That's the direction the river flows. And the Red Knight, as it turns out, is known to him, or at least he describes someone matching the Red Knight's description as having been the first thing that he saw encased in one of these blocks of ice, that he actually fished out, but that the Eyes came out and they got him, and then a couple of weeks later he saw the Red Knight walking around, and so every now and then the Red Knight apparently, and who he's seen kind of around town. He sees him talking to the Eyes from time to time, and then there are carts that show up that he is seen elsewhere in town, interacting also with the Red Knight, as the Red Knight has them basically pick some of these things up, some of these carts, but they're basically hauled to the labyrinth for some reason. And so that is where a lot of this ice ends up, is in the labyrinth. And
Okay.
I think that is all of the pertinent information that has thus far been provided.
Okay. So when Liquid Lou asks if there's anything else, Dustin's just gonna pause for a moment and go, no, I think that's I think that'll be all. I think we'll just go ahead and finish our pints and be on our way. And with that, he's just going to kind of lean back against the booth and, finish his drink.
Jay.
Yeah?
You have this sense.
Uh-oh.
And it's up to you whether it's Jay or Maya that has this sense currently, as you're
Okay.
both... Are you both still up by the door?
Yeah, we're still there. I haven't moved largely because I don't want, if things go sour, for them to move to block the exit. I want to keep it secure.
The cabbage outside has rolled to a stop, and it's not so much you see as kind of feel it peering in at you.
The cabbage is watching me.
Yes,
Cool.
you are being watched by a cabbage.
Not certain there's much I can do about that. Doesn't really seem like it.
Very close green leafy scrutiny.
I'm just gonna keep an eye on the others and make sure that, because it seems like maybe they're wrapping up over there. Hopefully.
They might be. You can see that this cabbage, by the way, also, just so you're aware, since you now have time, do you look back at the cabbage, or are you trying not to look at the cabbage?
I'm looking without making it obvious.
Okay.
I do want to size this thing up and figure out, can I take you?
Can I
Do
take
I
this
think I can-
cabbage?
Can I take this cabbage
One sometimes wonders.
in a fight?
Yeah. It's important to know these things.
Yes.
As far as you can tell, it is a very mean-looking cabbage, but it does look, in part in particular, it looks as though it has been, it's been in some fights. There are parts of it that are bruised.
Recently?
Not recently, but it looks like this was perhaps once a larger cabbage that has become smaller.
This cabbage
Because
went
it
through
is-
the patch of hard knocks.
Yes, yes. But, so it looks very much like it. It still looks pretty tough. And actually that perhaps is part of the reason why. It has perhaps battle scars is perhaps the term we're looking for.
I see. Okay.
yeah.
I think. It's a good friend of mine once said, I think I'd like to do something stupid.
Ah, excellent. We enjoy that when that happens.
I'm gonna leave Maya inside, but Jay is gonna step out, and I don't think I've ever established this about him, but let's introduce it to the fiction anyway. He's gonna pull a pack of cigarettes
Sure.
out of his vest pocket
Yeah.
and light one up. Like
I
he's
can
gonna
totally-
step outside to have a cigarette.
I can totally see Jay as someone who tries not to smoke, especially at like events and what have you, but has
Yes.
them just in case.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So he steps outside to light up a cigarette, and he stood like right outside the door, and he just him and the cabbage are just kind of chilling at this point.
Okay.
He's like, lights
The
it up.
cabbage has rolled and sort of turned a little bit.
Come here often?
Sometimes. You. You have no idea where this voice is coming from, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, that's
From
that's the
within the
least of my
depths of this-
concerns right now.
Very large cabbage. Yes.
At this point, Jay has slipped into the realm of, oh, what's one more weird shit thing?
Yeah.
You know, fucking at this point, it's just
May
part
as
of the
well.
corpus.
You may as
to
well
describe
talk to
it.
the cabbage.
He's given up on trying to make sense. I'm new in town.
You're here to cause trouble.
Of course not. Trouble usually finds me, but I don't actively go looking it out. Why, is your name Trouble?
Stand by.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Am I low-key
He says-
flirting with a cabbage right
No,
now? Is
he
that my
says-
life?
He says, "No, my name's Heath."
Huh. Not bad. Call me Jay.
Kind of teeters back and forth for a moment. Writing down more vegetable names.
Look,
Heath
you
is-
brought
is-
these vegetables here.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
It is true. I put an entire district of
You tossed
anthropomorphic
this salad, I'm
vegetables
just
here.
eating it.
For some reason, I can't help it. Well, no, that perhaps comes later. But
Don't threaten me with a good time.
we'll see. I don't know where this is going. But Heath will be. What does this gang want of me? They just want. Okay, yeah, no. Is you're not just sort of seems to be turning back and forth very slowly, pivoting a little bit. He says, "What'd you lot want with Lou?"
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, friend. We're just having a conversation. They had a couple questions for him about some ice or something. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I just want to go home. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just
Yeah, he
wanna go
sells
home.
ice.
Yeah. And my friend in there, he sculpts, so he, needed some ice for a project. It's just business. I'm just kind of along for the ride.
You sculpt?
Me? No. Never one of my... I sing sometimes. It's my creative proclivity.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
No. I usually... Yeah. I do protection.
Really?
Crochet a little bit.
Oh, it's lovely. I gave it a shot once. I'm not very good at it.
Very tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get your fingers in the right position because it requires opposable thumbs. You probably have an easier time than I do. I see you
Well,
got
in fact-
opposable thumbs.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they're not all they're cracked up to be. I broke one once, and it was ugh.
Oh yeah. As when one of your bones snaps, is it one of those things where you gotta wait for it to grow back for like months and months. I
Not
hate
so
when
much
that happens.
grow back.
I don't know.
They don't really grow back, but if it's not snapped off, it'll, as long as you set it right, it'll mend.
And the cabbage kind of nods, which again, it has no head or neck ability, so it's when I say it nods, it sort of rolls forwards and backwards just a moment. He says, you sing professional.
No, I was never that good. Choir when I was younger. I had a couple of community choirs when I got older, but I'm not good enough, really.
They got clubs here, apparently.
Hmm.
Yeah, folks can do that. You, how long you planning being here?
Well, not any longer than I have to be. Again, I'd really love to get home.
Yeah, you best be going before 13.
What happens at 13?
Well, folks like you can't get back out for another hour.
Okay.
Nobody gets out for about an hour.
Hmm.
All the doors are closed. City moves around. You get stuck, best to find a big crowd of people, or a bar, or a diner, or a cafe. Lots of folks go to the market district.
Mm-hmm. What about a friend's place?
Yeah, if you got a friend here, then they got a good hidey hole. It's good. Yeah. It's always good.
You got a hidey hole?
He says, "No, I don't need one, mate."
Oh, that's right. Big tough guy like you probably can weather whatever this place can throw at you, huh?
Folks like us, we does the chasing, you know.
Oh, is it fun?
Can be. Yeah.
Well, I hope you have a good time tonight.
Sometimes we're in need of good fertilizer.
He's pretending to not be disturbed by that. Pretending like this is a perfectly normal conversation to be having.
It's an absolutely normal conversation. Yeah. You best be out of this area before 13. Wouldn't want you to get underground.
Right. Well, hopefully my friends won't be too much longer.
Not good for you. I mean, far enough underground, you get into the sewers, and then who knows what's going to happen, but, in the dirt. You don't want to be in the dirt.
Don't want to be in the dirt. Keep that in mind. Was it Hugh? I'm trying to remember. It starts with an H. I know it does.
Heath.
Here we go. He sort of snubs out the butt of his cigarette. Thanks for the advice, Hugh. Fucking Heath. God damn it. I literally just asked you, why did I stick it in my... I pretend I didn't say the wrong name.
I got you. Yeah. Sort of rolls back and forth for a moment. All right. And, then sort of awkwardly falls silent and rolls a little further back and starts rolling in a very small circle. Is there anything else anyone would like to do in this pub?
I mean, not Dustin. Like I said, Dustin's gonna pretty much just kind of like finish his drink, and I think when he's done, he's just gonna wait for Colm and Lana, and as soon as they finish their drinks, then get ready to roll out.
All right. Oh yeah, if you folks are done with Lou, then he will. Do you let him go?
Yeah. And Lana has decidedly not been drinking. I want to make that clear. Also, I
Sure.
apologize. It got way darker, way faster than I was expecting. And I just realized I disappeared.
I was concerned for a moment I was concerned that the Shadow Crone had gotten you. I have asked her not to intrude into our realm, but she does not always listen to me.
I think she got my apartment at the very least.
Oh, hell.
At the moment.
Well,
At least it's not waxy, so
Yeah,
that would
that's
be an entirely not ever getting my security deposit and probably getting evicted problem.
There. Okay, so if you let Lou go, he's going to very quickly head out. As you got the sense, kind of, that he didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to say too much about his business directly with the veggie mob here.
Right.
As those of you who have any experience with gangs, by which I mean Colm, will probably be aware, is that if you talk about, is that like, he's like, he's paying protection to the veggie mob, but if there's also this other gang that he's working with, he probably does not want to be too loud about that. Because he is doing business in the veggie mob's territory.
Fair enough.
What are we doing?
I mean, I think Jay has confirmed that we're probably okay to leave and that we're not going to be stopped. So, I think he's going to, like, open the door and be like, are we going to get home before 13 or what?
Unlikely at this point.
So, I mean, that's going to be kind of like Dustin's cue to start edging towards getting up out of the booth and heading towards the door.
Oh, I thought we had already left. With but yeah,
Would you all like to be outside the pub now?
Yeah.
Well, I figured we were because I don't know that Jay came in.
Yeah, they let you go. They don't. The giant carrots do not stop you. Now
I
back.
was just trying to make sure that the cabbage was amenable to, like,
Oh, yeah.
trying to make friends and trying to be like at least soften him up a little bit.
Yeah, no, the cabbage is not does not appear to be wanting to be menacing toward you right now.
Yet.
Right. So what are we off to now?
Lana is going to suggest visiting the Shadow Crone against her better judgment.
All right, who's that then?
I'm not sure that's necessarily a good idea, though, because we know that this stuff is coming downriver from the Shadow Crone, but somebody else is fishing it out and having it distributed to the city, though.
I thought that was Lou.
Yeah, well, Lou's fishing it out, but it's also being caught by the eyes,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and the eyes are encouraging him. So we don't know for a fact that this is necessarily something that's of the Shadow Crone's doing, per se. Like this may not be a Shadow Crone is the evil mastermind and the eyes and Lou or the henchman type deal.
That
This
doesn't
may
mean
be this may be like the Shadow Crone is a supplier.
my thinking is that does not mean she doesn't know what is going on.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I just think that we would probably get more information if we were to try going towards the eyes. Because, the Shadow Crown may be in charge of it, or she may just simply be supplying the eyes with something that they need for their plans. And we're already pretty close to where the eyes are. So, if it turns out that they don't know anything, then we can go visit Shadow Crown. Whereas if we go visit Shadow Crown and she doesn't know anything, then we have to come back.
Right.
So it sounds like the eyes have it then?
Sounds like the eyes have it.
Thank you, Jim. I've been trying to figure all night how to get that in, and that was beautiful.
Well, when it comes to things like that, you could say that Colm is an avid pupil.
Have I started bleeding from the ears yet? No. Okay, good. Yes. So yes, you do definitely. So you're heading. You want to head out in search of this eyes, these people. These.
Right.
Yes.
All right, we can do that. From what you understand, from what Lou at least has said, they operate on the other side of the river from here. So you just basically have to find a bridge and take it across the river, and enter that territory. Is that what you're going to do?
Yes.
All right. So, you will step out. You see the canal, and it's that has its at this place. Again, you get a nice view from here as the river goes out and across the underneath a bridge, and that's between here and the other district. You're near the edge of the district, and so the district on the other side is the industrial district, and you can see where it flows into the sort of a semi-ruined area. So, yeah, you're going to. There's a bridge a little bit to your right. You can go over. You can see again there are people here, and there are vegetable people. You can see some of them are kind of starting to set up their little stands more. They're sort of like as though there's some folks are kind of preparing for something. You see a very large eagle flap down and start talking to one of the people at one of the stands. He is dressed like a farmer. He has the overalls and the hat. You cross the bridge, and things get a little bit dimmer as you cross over into the side of this district that is a bit darker, covered in ivy and other things. And the air itself looks a bit thicker. And you feel instantly as though you are being watched. And if you folks would be okay with it, I'd like to take a break at this point. I know it's a little early, but I'd like to take a wee bit of a break. I'll go ahead and I'll throw the interview out here. I've got an interview queued. And we will be back in a little bit. We'll see you folks shortly. Welcome to the break. I am here once again with James Introcaso, writer and game designer. Greetings, sir. Greetings.
Greetings. Good to see you, Jim. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you are the creator of Burn Bright, which is a system that is out primarily for folks using Roll20. And I was wondering if you could talk to us about it a bit. Tell us a little bit about Burn Bright, if you would.
Sure, yeah. So Burn Bright, which Roll20 published, right? So they are the publisher and owner, and that's why it's available exclusively on their platform, is a science fantasy RPG that they asked me, along with several other people, Cat Cool, Darcy Ross, and Jim McClure, to create for them. It uses a lot of the bells and whistles of Roll20, but you can actually play it at a table. You still need Roll20 to access the rules, but you could do everything else analog if you wanted to. It takes place in the Olaxis galaxy, which very well may be the last galaxy in existence, because there is this phenomenon that surrounds the galaxy on all sides called the burn. It's like this orange aurora, kind of northern lightsy looking thing that slowly closes in on all sides, and as it touches and overtakes planets, space stations, people, everything it touches disappears, never seen or heard from again. And so that creates a lot of problems, resource shortages, refugee crises, lots of people and places suddenly disappearing, greedy corporations profiting, all of that kind of stuff. And the players take on the role of heroes, right? A lot of times in these post-apocalyptic stories, we see people say like, well, what will this do to us? Will this turn us into monsters? And Burn Bright says, you are people who say, no, the end of all things is not a reason to be a bad person. We are still going to do good because it is the right thing to do. And we're going to help people, and, we're going to explore and have fun and maybe make some money along the way, even though it's all coming crashing down. And that's not to say that like everybody's happy, lucky unicorn, people get mad, people get upset. There's emotional moments for sure. But so that's the idea. There are no humans in Burn Bright. Everyone is an alien species that is super powered because of their anatomy and physiology. So there are all sorts of species. We don't have time to get into all 8 of them, but I will shout out 2 of my favorites. One is the Peacecraft. You play a larger individual, like you use like a large sized token, a 2x2 token in Roll20, and you are a mech that can pilot itself, but also your friends can like hop in and combine with you, and you can get all of these features whenever you're being piloted by a friend and working together with them. And there is also the Rornan, which is when you play a Rornan, you play a swarm of telepathic bugs that share one hive mind, right? And so that's really fun because you're moving around and you're telepathic. You might have some telekinesis, that kind of thing, and you can flatten yourself to move through doorways or build yourself into a rope that your companions could climb up. All kinds of things like that. So that's the basic overview. Mechanically, it uses a system that we created from the ground up. And that has been really fun and rewarding to see people play that as well, because the system itself is something new to RPGs that we really, really have enjoyed.
Let's talk a little bit about the system. What are some of the basics for it?
Sure, yeah. So Roll20, you have a skill-based character like you would in like Fate, right? You don't have big attributes like D&D. You have 18 different skills, 6 mental, 6 physical, and 6 social, and each one has a different die size associated with it. D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. The fewer sides your die has, the worse you are with that skill. So if you have a D12, you're really great with the skill. If you have a D4, you're not so good with it. And then every task that you go to complete with a skill, right? A task where failure would make things more interesting. You roll your skill die a number of times equal to the task's complexity. So complexity 2 task is pretty simple. A complexity 4 task is hard. And they go all the way up to complexity 7, right? You roll your dice, and if you have doubles, right? If you have match numbers, then you fail. Otherwise, you succeed, because Burn Bright assumes you're a competent hero, like we see in many science fantasy stories like Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? These people who can take on whole armies at once, even though there's only a couple of them. So it's that idea. And whenever you fail in Burn Bright, you don't just fail, you make things worse. And so you come up with story consequences with the DM. There's also a big table of 100 consequences you can roll on if you or your your GM doesn't have an idea about what you want to do. You can roll on that and check out the consequences for failure and make something fun happen. It's a great game because people love to fail in it too, which was one of our design goals. Like, make failure something exciting that people are like, oh, what's gonna happen, right? And so we did that with it, and that's fun. So yeah, those are the very basics of the core rules.
I feel like it's one of the best things that could possibly have happened to RPG mechanics within the last 20 years or so, to actually have a push to make failure interesting.
Yes, right? Because you're still playing a game when you fail, and so you still want it to be exciting, and even, dare I say, fun, if you can get there, right? It's when you're playing a board game and you fail, that's different because it's competitive, right? But for this, so many RPGs don't have a competitive bent. Some do. So it's good to be able to say, like, how can we embrace this so it's not just like, well, sorry, nothing happens, and that's boring. And it also increases the tension. There's good reasons in Burn Bright for having failure have a consequence and a cost associated with it, because we want people to feel like they're gambling when they make skill rolls in combat, and so that's a big part of it.
Nice. Well, if you can let us know a little bit, if we can delve into a little bit of the history here, what kind of led you to Burn Bright? How did you sort it out?
That's a great question. So when I was working with Roll20 at the time, I had created an adventure that's available for free. It's like a D&D starter adventure. It teaches you how to use D&D and how to use Roll20. They commissioned me to make it. It's called the Master's Vault. You can download it for free from Roll20 and check it out. And so at the time when we were working on it, I said to them, hey, this is cool, you all creating your own content, right? You have this platform where you sell Wizards of the Coast products and Paizo products and Chaosium and all this other stuff. Have you ever thought about doing it yourself? Kind of like Netflix, right? Used to have other people's stuff. Now they have other people's stuff and their own stuff. And they said, funny you bring that up. We do want to do that. And we want to create an original role-playing game. We're thinking sci-fi. Are you interested in putting together a team to work on it? And I was like, holy, yes, absolutely. And so I got together with the team, and we said, like, okay, we formed our team. What do we like? What don't we like? And we started to talk about exploration and how, like, in science, fantasy, and we did fantasy because none of us are scientists. Well, actually, that's not true. Darcy Ross is a scientist.
That is true. Very
yes,
true.
but none of us are astrophysicists. And so we wanted to be able to do things without having to science them. So we were like, hey, if we magic them, it's easier to explain for us. So that was the idea behind science fantasy. And then similarly, the idea for the Burn came from fantasy and sci-fi are so mind-blowing in their expansiveness, and you can go to all these different planets, and you can we wanted to be able to keep the universe contained, so we didn't over-design it, and that's where the idea from the Burn came from our laziness, basically. But it's really the driving force of the whole setting now, and so I'm really, really glad we came up with it. And I should mention that Bright is spelled Bryte, because it's that's the term for an age in the game, right? So there's like the Age of War is called the War Bright, and the Age of Exploration is called the Exploration Bright, and so you're in the Burn Bright because it's the age of the burn.
Awesome. Well, I got to squeeze in one more question, setting related, or even just creative process related, because I'm just too curious here. What brought you to decide no humans for this setting?
That's a great question. So that is something that Kat and Darcy and Jim really pushed for at the beginning. And the reason behind that, which I really love and agree with, is that if you have humans, right, every other species or ancestry in your setting kind of becomes a monolith in that they're compared to humans, right? So like we often think of elves as like they're like humans, but they live in the woods and they're graceful and they don't have as many they don't have as much diversity within them as humans do. And they wanted that diversity of personalities and cultures and things like that in every species. So that's what we did. In Burn Bright, every species has a home world and like a home culture that we talk about in depth, but we also say that like, but you don't have to, you don't have to have this culture. You could have grown up here or here or here, and we give you the tools to build your own as well.
Thank you so much for doing that, by the way, because that is something that is sorely needed in RPGs, I think, and just in fiction in general, really, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And I got to give credit to the three other members of the team, because that was really, they were the push for that. But I am a true believer in that, and like I'm so glad we did it that way. And it's also the way the game works out, right, is that like so much of what your character can do is dependent on their, what we would think of as humans' alien anatomy, that I'm not sure what I would really do for humans. You know what I mean? It would be like, hey, you're a human, so you're kind of good at everything. And that always feels bland in an RPG as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, so folks looking for this, they should, go on Roll20 and do a search for Burn Bright? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, so it's available in the Roll20 marketplace. You can also go to burnbright.com. Roll20 built a special page for it where you can learn more there.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it. If anyone wants to find you online, where should they go?
So you can follow me on Twitter at James Introcaso and over at worldbuilderblog.com.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to throw things back to myself now, and we will catch you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
We have returned. And, so it was already nighttime. But strangely, as you get to the other side of the bridge, it somehow feels even more like nighttime. Things are dim. Not all the street lights work out here. And, you have basically a number of blocks that that are in front of you. Number of city blocks. Is there some particular sort of type of area you'd like to start, or do you want me to just sort of describe what's immediately around here? What do we want? What are we looking at? What do we want? What do we need? What do we seek?
It would probably make sense for us to be looking for one of these traps that Lou told us about.
Yeah. Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard.
Because I figure at some point the eyes have to show up or something, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we are seeking these people. There are people on this side of the river. I don't want to give the impression that there aren't, but they are fewer and further between. Not as many people over on this side. But you can start heading over, and you can see across the river. It's not a big giant river, so you can see the other side you came from. You can see that there is, so you can see sort of where you were, the pub, and you can see a little bit of the ways down, sort of closer to the corner. On the opposite side, you can see where there's an entrance to a subway station. There is no such entrance on this side of the river, though. But, you want to kind of, so, after heading sort of counterclockwise for a few minutes, you will kind of find this area where there are these nets that are set into the water. And it's kind of, these things have been built out. They're kind of on these wooden, like on these wooden poles that have been set out. That you can see. You haven't gotten right next to them yet. I just need to point this out. But from a distance, it looks like that is what you are looking for. You will note that kind of on this side of the river, you see there are you see a few random eggplants. You see a few random chili peppers. And again, there are people and there are other nightmares, non-vegetable themed nightmares over here. But there is sitting in a chair, sort of like a lawn chair, not far from these nets. You're going to see a potato. Sort of a big anthropomorphic potato. Just kind of sitting. They're wearing sort of a floppy hat and sunglasses as they kind of lean back. And it looks like they're kind of fishing. They've got a long sort of fishing pole that's kind of that they're not currently. That's kind of they have it on one of those things you can bolt down, right? That it'll kind of it'll sort of go when it's got something on the line, kind of deal. And so they've got this long pole that extends out over the nets and goes a little further. It's just beyond the nets, I'll say.
As Colm sees the potato apparently fishing in the river, he mutters under his breath, fish and chips.
I mean, it's right there.
He'll elbow Dustin and say, "So what's the next step then?"
Well, I figure once we find one of these areas where they're retrieving the ice from, they gotta show up at some point.
So we just wait here then?
We'll give it a bit, yeah.
Cutting it a little close, don't you think?
About 12:20.
We've got some time.
I will say, ever since the clock struck 12, there's been this palpable sense of everyone's been a little on edge that you've seen. And you don't know if it's connected, but that's not unusual given where you are and who you've been interacting with.
But
there is some
more
kind
on
of
edge than what I'm more on edge than what I'm used to.
There's like a thing to it. You're not sure what the thing is, but and it feels.
If we're looking for eyes, I'm thinking that talking to Mr. Potato Head over there ain't a bad idea.
Dustin's gonna glance over for a moment. You might be onto something. Walk over to the potato.
Okay. Just a moment. I need to Google something. Okay. Dustin's going to go talk to the potato. Walk up. And they're just still sort of sitting there. They haven't moved. They're just kind of lying there.
Stroll up and been fishing here for a while, or just getting started? Or?
So it makes this gesture that's kind of like a little sort of up and down thing that you think is probably a shrug.
Caught anything yet?
Dunno. Not yet. Maybe about to.
Oh yeah. What's good in this area? Like, what do you normally catch?
Most fish aren't in this river. No better. Aren't indolent enough to come up to the hook every now and then. You know.
And why do you spend your time fishing?
Why not?
It just seems like an exercise in futility if you rarely catch anything.
Well, what did they say? You don't fish for fish, you fish for fishing.
Who's this they everyone talks about?
Oh. That's not the kind of question you want to go asking around here.
Fair enough.
And he again has not moved. He's just basically been lying there, kind of sunglasses on. Just still very laid back.
Right. Have you collected any weird ice?
So they've kind of turned their head, by which I mean they shift because it's a potato. The ice here isn't interesting. Don't think you should waste your time.
No ice with some red stuff in it then.
You don't want that kind of ice, do you?
Look, I'm probably gonna come down soon. But in the meantime, I'd like to find out where a certain husband from a certain wedding got dragged off by a red knight, and it has something to do with red ice. And I'd really like to figure out what all that means.
Well, we are attempting to get some information out of this potato. We are attempting to step forward and ask in a forthright fashion.
I've got a plan B if this doesn't work.
The pain of this particular one is going to be 3.
Alrighty.
So if Colm is leading, then I think Dustin can help if he wishes, because he's been here asking as well. Up to you folks, if you want to.
Give me just a second here.
Sure.
There we go. Yeah, I'll help.
Okay.
Not by much, but
Oh, it's enough to know that you're going to be. You're going to have at least the same number of successes that I have, if not more. It's more. You have 2 successes more than I have. I have 3 successes. Let's see. Discipline is dominating. So that means for both Colm and Dustin, you may either erase an exhaustion or remove a check from a response.
Oh, remove a check.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You got 2 6s in discipline. So this is a very ordered thing that happens here. You're being very open. And the potato is as you're communicating here. You got 2 successes more than me. Yeah. I mean, like, let me see here. Yes. Okay, got it. You gotta meet Grandpa. You wanna meet Grandpa?
It depends. See if you have the information I've been asking about.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I want to meet your grandpa.
Alright. And he just sort of wobbles back and forth for a moment and then gets to his feet. As it turns out, he has feet. And he kind of pulls out from some pocket or other. There's sort of a rag that he waves in the air. And you see a couple of... after a moment, he says... he just sort of... he looks down the street, the street that heads outward. He looks down the street that heads outward. And you kind of looking there, you can kind of see see a couple of potato-shaped individuals stepping out of doorways, nodding. He says, "You go to the big house at the end of the street." He'll say, what will he say? Right. Is anyone here? Is anyone here wearing a hat?
No.
No.
This is, that you are you tell them Auden has asked for you to you to have a handshake. You have friends that you need help with. You'll be respectful. He will be respectful of you.
There we go then.
Yeah. I am Auden. You just give them my name.
Auden. All right. Nice to meet you, Auden.
Auden goes back to fishing. I add to my increasing list of vegetable names. So you pass by what looks like a liquor store and an apartment complex, and you see looming up in front of you, and it's kind of dark. You pass by a couple of these other potatoes who are just standing in doorways watching you. And there is at the end of the street, there's a big sort of brownstone looking house with steps up. Looks pretty old. It is like everything else, kind of covered in ivy and other plants. There is a banner above the door that has a big eye on it. That looks kind of, I don't know, I'd call it, if you had to guess, I mean, it almost looks like a normal pupil, but there's a slight hint that you think, is this reptilian? Is this amphibian eye? We're not sure. Slightly slitted, this eye. And you see there these steps leading up to this set of double doors.
Right. Anything I need to know before we head in? Like, one of you actually is secretly a potato, or a stalk of celery or some such.
No, nothing like that.
Jay, for the sake of it, I'm gonna say he and Maya refuse. And
Okay.
Jay kind of like shakes off a little bit as his two minds are merging and all of the both memories are coming back together. I'm not a vegetable. Some people call me a fruit.
What kind of fruit?
The kind that likes men, dear.
Oh, like that, is it? Oh, nothing wrong with that. There's some nice men out there.
Been muted this whole time. Anyway, I wish the world wasn't so mean to people like you and I, Jay.
It is what it is. Made us who we are. Couple of tough bitches.
Aye, right. So, fruits but no vegetables. Gotcha. And knock on the door.
You know, it occurs to me I have not yet once described fruits existing anywhere in the Garden District. I'm sure they're around somewhere. I just haven't quite figured out where they are yet.
They
They're
probably
there.
just probably have a small territory because of the vegetable mob.
I mean, that's a good point. There is a lot of that. There is a place. I just need to write it down. I just remembered there is a place. And there's got to be more than just that one place.
Probably hanging out in a salad bar.
I'll make a note to myself. There we go. Okay. Now that I've made those cryptic notes, you knock on the door. And the door is open after a moment. After a moment, you hear someone sort of coughing, and then they come up. You hear someone coming up to the door. The door opens, and you will see this potato just sort of standing there, weaving back and forth a little bit unsteadily, and the potato looks over at you and says, "What do you want?"
Well, Odin sent me, didn't he? He said I should go see his grandpa.
She just sort of looks at the four of you with some disdain. She's like, "Waken tourists, come in." And she gestures, and she'll open the other door and sort of head back into the hallway, coughing.
I don't know.
So you can hear what sounds kind of like techno music. Faintly. And you see her go down the hall, and you see there's like it's a hallway there's like a set of stairs on one side, and then the hallway goes further back, and she passes the stairs. This is an old house, with there are like portraits on the walls. It's got an unusual sort of, there's an earthy smell in here, and again, sort of dimly lit house. It's like even indoors, maybe not as bad as it is outside, but it's like you can see the air a little bit as you come through. And from the sound of things you kind of hear from like upstairs, you think that maybe they have cats. Just sort of go in, and then she'll turn into this side room. And you hear for a moment as you're sort of approaching, and you can hear it better as you get closer. And you got the visitors. What? Alden send somebody. They need someone wants directions or something. He's like, what? Turn it down, damn you! All right. I turn it down. And you kind of come in. You hear the techno music goes down a little bit.
You see, this was originally a multi-vegetable structure, but then they decided to drop the beats.
Beautiful.
Excuse me for a moment.
Beautiful, Jimbeaux.
I need to find a hammer. Hold on.
That one hurt.
I love that.
Let's go see Grandpa.
You gotta see Grandpa. So you look and you see that you come up and you look into this room, and you see that it's like this weird sort of, it's like an old person's sort of living room type affair. There's this big sort of overstuffed chair and sofa, and everything has tarps or doilies over them. Every surface. And there are portraits, sort of velvet portraits on the wall of potatoes. And there's this little TV set with the rabbit ears. And that seems to be, someone is giving some kind of a strange sort of metal concert on it. Whilst hovering in midair in some club or other. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on. But it looks like someone like going nuts. They're becoming something else on there. It's like some weird sort of transformative thing is happening as energy radiates off of them. But you come into this room, and there's this potato. It's another potato, by the way, just so you're aware. Is sitting on this in this big chair, and has used this big ass remote, 70s like remote, to turn the volume down, and sets it back on this table. This potato sort of leans forward and swivels the chair around, and you can see that it's a fairly large potato, pretty big. It's also a pretty big chair. And you can see that, like, with this potato, most of the potatoes you have seen thus far, admittedly only a few, generally only have two eyes open. This one has several eyes open on him, apparently. And he's wearing kind of a shawl-like thing as he sort of spins around. What do you want?
Well, we were
Get here
told-
from Auden. I know. Give us a moment. What is it?
We were told we're looking for a man who got kidnapped by a red knight, and we were told that maybe you might know how to find that.
He rocks forward slowly. And he's like, turns, he's like, Red Knight is trouble. Why do you want the Red Knight?
Oh, because he grabbed someone and was pretty rude about it. I'd kind of like to get that person back before I wake up.
Oh, you're awake, all right.
Not. He thinks
What?
he's
Sorry, go ahead.
I think Lana tries to decide to tell this nightmare or not what actually Colm thinks, but thinks better of it. He doesn't mean that kind of awake. He thinks this is literally a nightmare.
Could turn out to be.
Not a nightmare. Just, did a little too much at the ayahuasca ceremony, and now I'm just, kind of wandering around Stonehenge.
You all have things you believe in. You have symbols you believe in. You follow deity.
That's complicated. At least for me. Can't speak for them.
I did not think it would be simple.
Well, I mean, it's. Do you really want to get into this now? I mean, if you want to have this discussion, we can have this discussion, darling.
The city slumbering is not. Deities are not always kind to everyone.
Oh, so just like in real life, okay.
No. This real life is the city slumbering. I was more filling in our friend.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I might not have given you all the lingo.
I hear this.
My-
No, you have to attach to who you have to. You understand? It's like this. Sometimes people do things you can't stop it. You understand?
Hey, I mean, no one's omnipotent.
They try. There's some come close. Yeah, and let's see. What does he want? What does he want? Wait, let me look at this once again. Okay, yes. How do I know this is in my interest to talk to you about tonight?
Well, you can get back to your music once we go, and the quicker you tell us, the quicker we go.
Well, seems you are in a hurry. So, you're just gonna have to figure out if you're worth it. We're just going to have to do a quick test then, won't we? And he leans forward. The chair will, the feet of the chair go down, and he slowly gets to his feet. We're going to let the eye judge you.
Sure, why not?
And the other potato in the room will say, "You want to go bothering the eye over this?" And he's like, "This is exactly what to bother the eye over. You look what's happening, won't you see?" And just sort of pointing at the TV. And she looks over at the TV and is like, "I don't want to hear about it. You go look after the cats. They're probably starving by now." All right. It's almost it's going to be 13. They get to eat. They get to eat then if they want. No, just go take care of the cats. You want? And they start saying something in an Eastern European language to each other. It's probably it could be probably something in the area of Serbia or something.
Like watching the Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head version of Miracle Max and Valerie.
Kind of, yeah. She will retreat up the stairs. And be like, "All right. You come here, we go to the study."
All right, lead the way.
So he's going to go a little bit deeper into the house. Are you all following him?
Yes.
Goes down a
He's in the
corridor.
very back, but he's still following.
Yeah. Goes down a corridor, turns down the corridor, opens a door, All the doors here are very wide. Opens a door. He goes through. Inside this room, this is a what looks like there are books in shelves, sort of all around. And there are what looks like, kind of on one side of the room, there's this odd sort of, there's this tapestry hanging down that has what looks like several demonic-looking figures on it. They are, one of them sort of they're kind of sort of in, they're kind of either, they range from blue to purple to very dark purplish blue. The figures sort of, these figures on this tapestry, kind of looks almost like a medieval woodcut type thing. He goes over and he lights a candle that's on the table. He'll reach down and throw aside this rug, and underneath the rug there is a circle that looks a lot like the eye symbol, actually. A more simple version of the eye symbol, kind of in the floor, on the floorboards. And he's like, he sort of gestures toward the center of the circle.
What are we supposed to do?
You gotta hear the eye judge you, and then that will tell me if I can tell you.
Okay, but, like, should I step on the eye? Should I step near to the eye?
Yeah, no, you can step right on it. That's fine.
Oh, all right then. Trod.
They can take it.
I'm really not too thrilled about this. I don't. I've been judged a lot in my life for a lot of things. Like, what's our criteria here? I don't.
You know what it is? It's a test of your IQ.
Now is really not the time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please stop.
You all step onto the eye.
All at once?
Yeah.
There's enough room.
Okay. Sure. I guess. Like Jay's very hesitant. He's very hesitant about this whole thing. It's sparking bad memories for him, but he's gonna go anyway.
Lana goes first and holds her hand out to Jay.
Is Jay still wearing the suit?
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't described his clothing situation when he splits yet. I'll get a chance to do that, but...
That's a good question, because when you go back, are you wearing the medieval garb again, or are you, or do you actually assume the suits of one of the two, the clothes of one of the two abs?
I would say he's going into a suit every time, like when he comes back together.
All right. That's handy.
Yeah. I guess he's not gonna like take Lana's hand, not out of like, he's not trying to be rude, but like he can do this. He just doesn't want to.
Though it could be decidedly inconvenient if that costume you wore is rented.
You're right, it could be, but that's a later.
You have
problem.
to find some way to get that
that's
back
a problem
sometime.
for future Jay.
That's future Jay problem. Yeah.
If we get that far. Burn that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I'm last on, but I'm on, so let's go.
Grandpa closes the door, and kind of and dims the lights. There's a dimmer switch that he turns, and then the lights dim, and to the point that you can the tapestry seems to do the little glow in the dark type deal, and he will hold up a couple of what looks like a couple of rods that he has picked up out of a case is like these metal rods. Is like, Elder Eye, we beseech you. Examine these for their worth. Ah!
Jump scare. Rrok's not worthy.
Someone passed. Rrok didn't pass the test. Oh God.
That's funny. Oh man.
Amazing.
Oh no.
His internet did that thing that he keeps says this might be doing.
Ah.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
That timing was hilarious.
Gosh darn this camera.
Rrok has vanished from the.
I'm not even sure what happened there because it's not like it was showing I'd lost connection or anything. It
That's
just all of
funny.
a sudden it froze and
What did
dropped
you do
out.
to the Elder Eye?
Disconnection jump scare.
Yeah. So. There is something looking at you all.
From where?
You're not sure.
Great.
So, I need someone to make a roll now. Let me see if I can figure out what the pain of the Elder Eye is. Yeah, you're down there.
That doesn't sound ominous at all.
I'm sure it's fine. So the pain is going to be 8.
Lord have mercy.
See if the Elder Eye finds favor with you. Who would like to lead this endeavor?
Do it.
I can do it.
Okay, sure.
Oh, did you say you were gonna do it? That
Yeah.
just seemed really
Yeah.
hesitant.
No, I want to do it.
Okay, then you can do it and I'll help.
All
Okay.
right.
Since Lana has already offered help.
Definitely gonna
Man.
help.
Yeah. Anyone can help on this if they so desire. As up to you all.
We just rolled discipline for help, right?
Yes, that is correct.
When it comes to adding madness dice, I can only do that when I'm using my talents.
Oh no, you can use
or...
it anytime you like. You can add 1 to 6
Okay.
madness dice
Yeah,
whenever you wish. You can also add an exhaustion to your exhaustion pool before you roll if you wish. That is up to you.
Okay, I've got 3 people helping me.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do 3 madness.
Okay.
Okay. Is my numlock not on? Thank you.
Here we go. Okay. Now I shall roll pain. I have 5 successes. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. And let us look at Celeste's dice. Okay, pain is currently dominating.
Surprise. Shock and awe.
I am deeply shocked and awed. Let's see. Do I want to do anything to... I could spend a coin of despair if I wanted to change this result. Make madness dominate for everyone. That would be fascinating. This would be appropriate, an appropriate time for that. I'm going to spend a coin of despair to add a 6 to the madness pool, which means We have 2 6s, a 5, and a 4 in there, which is bigger than the 2 6s, a 5, and the 2s that I have in pain. So madness is now dominating. Everyone, please check off a response.
So remind me when I'm full.
Oh, you're full?
Yep.
Oh shit.
I don't know that I want to deliberately cause that to happen.
I'm cool with
That's
it.
that's a sort of a personal rule that I have. For various reasons.
Okay.
As to, it's in the, legally I can do it. But I don't want to force anyone to snap. I'd rather it come up organically right now. If someone does snap. So I'm going to take that back. Pain will dominate. Instead, I'll just take another coin. I can easily work with pain dominating. It's fine. You've had, there's so much. When you're full up, then you snap when madness dominates.
Okay.
I'd rather it dominate naturally. Anyway.
Actually, isn't it when you are full up and then you have
Yes.
to make?
Well, hang on. Yeah.
And that's.
Where were you? You were at 3 already?
I was at 3, and
Yeah, okay.
the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yes. That's weird, but we're good. Okay.
If you say so.
We're so good. But pain is dominating.
Ow.
So So here's the thing.
Okay.
Everyone for a moment will have this feeling as though, well, here it is. The room goes dark for a second, it seems. And, let's see, I got 5 successes, you got 7. Okay, just so that I have an idea. There is a, you all see a figure sitting in front of you. You're not sure if it can, you see this sort of, you see an outline, it's very dark. You see an outline of a figure sitting in front of you. You're not sure if, they're sitting in a chair of some kind. Like one of those sort of blocky, you know, those, it's like a single, it's not a recliner, but you know, that's just a single person chair with like the padded sides, but it's square. You know what I'm talking about? The kind they have in offices.
Like a waiting room chair.
Yeah. It's the chair is that shape. Again, you're seeing mostly shapes here. You're not sure this is probably not the this is probably not adhering to the dimensions of this room that you folks will see this. And this figure is big. It has horns that come out from its head and perhaps even curl slightly. It's again, you're seeing it in silhouette. It has its hands kind of sort of like this in front of it, with, you think, long fingernails. It might be wearing, it looks like it's wearing some kind of a suit made of some of that of a shiny material. It's not rubber, but it's one of those that's like rubber adjacent. I can't remember what the
Lycra?
something like, I can't remember.
Well, that would be more spandex, actually.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not like that. It's shinier than that, a little bit.
Like vinyl?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, not hugely important. But it's sort of sitting there, and it's kind of its elbows on the armrests, with its fingers sort of kind of not quite steepled in front of it, ridged in front of it, and it's got kind of a tall head, and you sort of lean forward. And we'll ask, you hear this voice. How do you feel about pain?
Can be fun in the right context.
Only with consent.
Here's a nod. Here's another nod.
Yeah, part of the job.
Its head turns in Dustin's direction.
You know, paint is art, and I'm an artist.
You can see it kind of standing up slowly, nodding. And then a light blazes on, and you're no longer in that space, wherever that space was. And you can just faintly hear this sort of laughter that's sort of fading out. And you can hear this sort of, you think you hear these last echoes of it saying something. You think it's saying, "No, good. Pain is coming." And one of the there's a little sort of there's this little like a little candle that has is burning blue now on this little table that's over to the side in the study. You're back in the study, and you see that Grandpa has uncrossed the rods and is setting them down, and is nodding, and sort of looking at it. He goes over, and the light. He sort of he'll snuff out the candles. He'll turn the light back up. He'll turn the lights back up, and he'll start snuffing the candles out. He says, "The Elder Eye has spoken. We are indebted to the Red Knight, but we are not friends." Exactly. What do you wish to know?
Lana looks at Colm.
Well, hey, apparently snatched up a groom from a wedding. We're trying to get the groom back. So anything that you could help us, anything you could tell us that would be helpful in that matter, we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. The eye favors you, so I will help you any way I can. But you'll probably have to hurry, for I cannot shelter you here. But
right.
I will tell you what I can. This was in the city slumbering.
Yes.
I can't, and he's putting the paraphernalia away and everything while all this is going on. He says, well, I don't know why it would have taken your friend. They don't tell us everything. But, is your friend part of a group, or, is your friend, working for someone, one of the bigger nightmares, or anything like that?
Refresh my memory out of character.
Yes.
He has the candle tattoo.
He has the candlewick tattoo. He does indeed. Leo does.
Yes, he works for the Wax King, or at least has his iconography tattooed on him.
Ah, all right. Yes, no, that is more. Yeah, there have been moves to try to contain the Wax King. It is not really our. That is not really our fight, but it is. It is difficult. It is difficult to explain. We have connections to the Red Knight's family for going back quite a ways, and the Red Knight is apparently working in concert to an extent with the Shadow Crone. We will not cross the Shadow Crone. You understand?
I don't blame you.
No. But the Red Knight is recently revived. We aid this as favor to as doing a favor to the Quran. As she is of, but she is not directly. How do I put this? She encourages what the Red Knight does, but she does not control him. You see?
All right.
Old nightmares. Old nightmares are returning. With the advent of the river, we had a quick decision we had to make. We either do what we can to be in the right place, or we stand against it. The lore tells us only a fool stands against it. So, we do what we can, the best we can to our advantage. Old nightmares returning. Much like the crone, I assume this is part of what she wishes. The Red Knight is one of the older nightmares. He has an agenda with the labyrinth. Wishes to, I cannot say what exactly, but he has I think, from what I have, when I have spoken with him, it is twofold. It's trying to freeze parts of it in place, I think. It moves, you know. But it has always been a thing, much like the city, it does what it does. But it will... There is power there to be had of some kind. And he is trying to tap into it. It is dangerous, but he is formidable. The crone is currently, as I said, has been warring against the Wax King for some months now. And so I think he is using this as a convenience. He takes a wax servant. No one powerful he interacts with is likely to say anything, you see. He is probably going to try to unleash something in the labyrinth, perhaps. But there is something else also. He's, the Red Knight, he wishes to, he or people with whom he is in touch. I think it is perhaps his family. Some of his descendants wish to, learn more about the Wax King and some of what, he does with his people. There is, my understanding, a deadly knife's edge balance many try to maintain. Between being awake and being asleep, or being awake and being a nightmare. This is a dangerous thing for a person to try. It's like that damned professor.
What about the professor?
He is on a knife's edge.
It reminds me of someone else I know.
But, Wax King, too, is on this knife's edge. As are, I think, his people. Some of them. So, this I expect the Red Knight is interested in. For what purpose, I cannot say. He has become a nightmare ages ago. Long ago, according to the lore. He serves the crone for centuries. Until he doesn't. Now, who is to say who he serves? But he does not go against the crone. Do not know what his agenda is. But anyone he is looking toward, he probably, if he has taken your friend, he has probably taken it to, I hear he has made a place in the labyrinth for himself. This likely is where he is. I do not know if you can get there. You probably cannot get there before the turn of the hour, if that is what you are seeking. If you can, then you will be able to stay there while. You know how the change works, do you? You've been here enough. You've been here enough, you know.
Been here before, yeah.
You know, sometimes the change is big, sometimes the change is small. This time the change will be a little bigger.
Because it hasn't changed in a while?
Forces are at work. You saw what was happening. There is... more nightmares are being created. And they're seeking this evening to strike vengeance at each other. There will be a shift. Of some kind. I know not which. I know not what kind.
Sounds like our best bet is to try and make the labyrinth before 13.
You can try that. It's going to... I do not know if you're going to be able to make it. It's past... he sort of looks... We'll look at... just sort of fishes into some pocket or other, pulls out a watch, and he looks... We don't have long. It's on the other side of town right now. But if you make it, then any district you are in, if you hold on, you can stay. But it's going to be very dangerous at the... Do you know what happens at the 13th hour?
Yes.
Things
You
change,
know.
and we have to find shelter. That's what the captain said.
Ah. You know why you have to find shelter?
These things will hunt.
Yes, we hunt your kind. We nightmares. We seek you out for different reasons. Depending which nightmare it is. Beware the wind-up police. They
Well, then we should.
most formidable. But you find yourself not. If you in the labyrinth, I do not know. It is not a safe place. But up to you if you wish to try that. If you cannot make it to where you wish to be by 13, you should seek places of people, places of gathering. You should seek the market district is safest for your kind. Barring that, cafes, restaurants, meeting halls, places with others, where they will go to be safe with each other best they can. Nowhere in the city is truly safe, but you get the idea, I think.
But either way, you need to. He looks at the others. We need to leave now.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get going.
You should. Something is coming. He just sort of looks up, stares at nothing, with all 10 or 11 of the eyes that he has open right now.
Jay starts moving, just to the way they came, trying to get out. He's not sticking around.
Thank you very much, grandfather. You've been a great help. I will definitely think of you next time I have chips.
Out!
Lana has made her way with Jay. But is also thinking about Dawson and particularly worried.
You never know.
Maybe there's a Professor 2.0.
You never know. So, you all are heading for the exit to the house. You see that Mrs. Grandma is coming down the stairs with a tray of some kind, slowly, and she's like, "Where you are going? Go." And and as you're hitting the door, you hear her sort of yelling down from the staircase. You did it again, didn't you? You frightened them all away. You keep doing all of these dangerous occult portents. This is every time what you get. What? Shut up! I do what I need to.
I have a deep and abiding love for these potatoes.
You do not know the cosmic forces I have to deal with, etc., etc. I know plenty of cosmic forces. They're sitting around watching TV all the goddamn time. All right, etc.
We get to potato.
Anyway.
These elderly potatoes are my heroes. Someday I wish to be like them.
You never
Already
know.
a potato. Just need to be elderly.
I like potatoes.
You're what you eat.
You head out of the house. And
let's go.
I need to know what direction you're heading in. You're currently on the just to give context. Right now, you are in the outer counterclockwise port edge of the garden district.
I was gonna say let's go for the rail line, but that's on the other side of the river.
It is on the other side of the river. You have maps that are
How much time do we
currently...
have?
They're currently there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, how much time do we have?
Okay, so stepping out, yeah, it looks like it's getting close to like... It's like 12... It's getting close to like 12:45 at this point.
Oh, there's not a chance in hell we're getting across.
It was a long meeting.
The sitting. Yeah, because there was a lot of wooge baloney that happened.
Yeah.
I'd say if we book it for the market district, maybe we find something on the way. If we don't make the market district, keep our eyes open for something.
I think the market district is where we came from, so in theory we should be able to get back there relatively quickly.
One never knows.
That is true.
Yeah.
The Mad City works in mysterious ways.
It does.
But that would be Lana's suggestion, seeing how little time they have to actually get where we ultimately want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make sense.
All right. Are you attempting to get there on foot, or are you going to try to find some other way to get there, like by train, like by metro, or by vehicle? Are you gonna try to flag down a cab, or are you going to just run?
I think we have to just run. It seems too dangerous to be interacting. Like, we don't have enough time to safely interact with nightmares.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. Because as you approach the bridge, I assume, let me ask, also, just to be clear, I need to know this as well, come to think of it. I'm going to get even slightly more specific. Which way are you heading from this block? Are you going to head toward, like, the intersecting street between the garden and the industrial districts, or are you just trying to head south across the street and head back across the bridge to the inner circle road, or what are we trying to do? Are you gonna run along the canal? What are we doing?
I'm following people who know this place better than I do.
So we're on the outer edge of the garden district still, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the closest road is like the closest big road is like the outer road.
Right.
But you can also get there. There's also the street between Industrial and Garden, which has a bridge that goes over the river. But like I said, those are just a couple of options. Depends on how you want to do this.
Wait. Are we in the garden district or the industrial?
You're in the Garden District.
Right.
You're very close to the Industrial District.
Right. And we need to get to the market district.
You need to get to the Market District, which, as you can see on the map, is like right now, like
On the other side of
basically
the
two
Shadow
districts
District.
away. Yeah, other side of the Shadow District.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm thinking we keep our eyes peeled on the way for another possible safe place, just in case we don't make, or we can't make the market district, which I'm going to be honest, we probably can't.
Cutting across to the inner road and taking that to the market district looks like it would be the shorter distance to travel, as opposed to like trying to take the outer.
Yeah, if you're just going there on foot, you might make it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna. That sounds good to me. Let's go.
Now, as you are, I shall say, a thing happens.
Uh-oh.
as you are heading for the bridge. Are we ready for the thing to happen?
What if
Are we
I say
ready?
no?
I can wait a moment.
No. Go ahead.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
I'm
Rip the
being
Band-Aid off.
shitty.
I shall rip the Band-Aid off.
TikTok. Oh, God. I told you to use this against me, and I'm still not prepared.
You hear rumbling as you are approaching the bridge. It's like the ground is shaking. It's like there's an earthquake happening. It is not 13 o'clock yet.
That doesn't necessarily matter, given what we've just learned.
Buildings are losing pieces of brick that are falling down. People are running. Vegetables are running.
Vegetables are people too.
They are. Pass by a manhole cover, and there's like steam that rises up out of it for just a moment. And it seems like steam rises up from vents, pipes, for just a moment. As there's this rumbling, and it's like there's a crunching sound deep beneath the ground. As you hear from the street behind you, you hear the sounds of brick and concrete scattering as it's like there's this rumbling that gets louder and louder. As there's this sort of like an explosion and dust begins moving forward toward you. Is anyone looking back?
Nope.
Jay's gonna take a look back as he's sprinting.
Yeah.
Why, Jay?
In the middle of this street that you've just vacated, a drill pops up. A very large drill head pops up, and you can see it coming up and shaking back and forth as this kind of vehicle of some kind is coming up from under the ground.
Is this the people eating subway train?
Have you encountered the people eating subway trains?
No, but I've heard about them.
This looks like a drill.
First, the first story arc. Remember? Oh yeah, that's right. We didn't.
That's how Lana knows about them. Lila
Right.
mentioned it in passing, but
Yeah.
This doesn't I think they kind of described them to you. This doesn't seem like that.
okay.
The mole machine.
That was just my first instinct when you started describing this.
As you reach the area of the bridge, you will note that the building just behind you and to the left collapses as another drill pops up right next to the river. You can kind of see that it's like it's being piloted by someone wearing goggles, a person wearing goggles and like a bowler hat.
The Underminer.
And that's all the detail you get because I assume you folks are still running. Are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Chaos is erupting as people are dashing back and forth. You are running across the bridge. On the other side of the bridge, ahead of you, not far from the pub, actually right in front of the pub, there's more rumbling, and you see another of these drills breaching the surface.
Great.
And you see There's another one a couple of streets over.
And it's not 11 or 13
Not
o'clock.
13 yet. You've got like a little under a quarter hour before 13. And you see that a lot of vegetables are running back and forth as these holes start forming in the infrastructure of this end of the garden district. And you will see people in what looked like shabby Victorian clothing pouring up out of some of these holes, and they have no faces.
Great.
As they chase some of these folks down, there's not a lot of that happening, but every now and then they're going to get out and just sort of push things or people aside. Mostly they're there to move things like vehicles and other things that are in the way, obstructions to the drills. And there's this, it's not a wall of people in front of you doing this, but there's a crowd panicking, and there are faceless workers and other people also dressed in sort of like Victorian, Edwardian garb, very dusty because they've just been underground, drilling holes in the way you want to go. What would you like to do?
Options here, even, God.
Is there any way past them? Like, is it just, like, can we weave around them, or?
You can certainly try to find a way to weave around them. You may attempt to look for that, if you wish. It might be an issue of just moving fast enough, possibly.
Yeah,
Let me give you a
that's
pain
what I'm
rating.
looking for.
Okay.
Let me assemble a pain rating here for this brief patch of leafy green Armageddon.
They're directly in front of us, correct?
Yes.
They're on the street directly in front of us, but like the road a little ways down, they're not quite there yet.
Quite possibly, yes.
So if we go and try to cut the corner and jump off the side of the bridge and try to make the other side of the street,
Yeah, you might be able to make that.
we might be able to get ahead of them.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
I would like to use my madness talent
Would you
of
know?
perfect insight to try to find a path that will keep us in front of the drills.
Oh, there we are. Okay. You're battling. Oh my goodness. I just realized what it is that you're up against here.
Cool. Love that.
Because of the
It's always a good reaction to get from Eugene.
Yeah, right?
The pain is 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. We did that before. We got this. We'll crush it.
Okay.
I might have to do this one alone though if I'm using my madness
Oh,
talent.
we'll see. What are
I
we
was
doing?
just about to ask about that.
I would like to use my madness talent to find a safe route out of here.
I mean, people can help you with that.
Okay.
That's not going to be too big a deal.
Jay's definitely helping.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Okay.
I guess you need to determine how much
Right.
madness I have.
Safe
to
way
add.
out of this. Yes. Okay. This is tricky for a number of reasons. You're going to need to roll at least 4 madness dice.
You know what? Let's do all 6.
Sure. Why not?
Bucket. 2 peas in a bucket, motherfuck it.
Well, it's more like 6 peas in a bucket, but
The hell? All right. I will now roll 8 pain dice. Okay, I got 4 successes, and let's see. So Lana is leading 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 successes total with everyone. That's good news.
Might have been a little overkill.
You all got 6 more successes than I did. Let me check these rolls here. It looks as though pain is dominating. That's pretty clear. I'm gonna take another despair token. Painful, but alarmingly successful. Out of something like this, oh boy, it is tricky. Lana, you're going to gain an insight.
Okay.
As you're all running, you're finding your spots, places you can jump over, places you can weave between, as all of these beings are coming up out of the ground. And the whole freaking counterclockwise side of the Garden District is rumbling. Lana, this you find for a moment is hard. Why? Because it's like every point where you sort of are looking at these moves that you can make, it's like something else is making counter moves deep beneath the earth. Something close by and deep beneath the earth is making counter moves. Something is doing exactly what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and I have my suspicions.
Now.
Fast-paced game of chess.
Possibly with a king.
Well, hard to say. Hard to say who these people are if you have not encountered them before. Has anyone encountered these people before, by the way, just out of curiosity, that you remember?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So, what you note... Pain, yes. Okay. There's a moment. There's a moment that happens. So this is going to get a little weird. As Lana, you try to foresee the directions and things you can do, the ways you can run. You're going to see... Oh. That... You can actually... Yeah, there's a way to make it. There's a way to make it around and through. You've got to reroute a little bit. But there are two things. The only way you can see out of here... You're probably going to be chased a little bit by some of these individuals. And you think it's entirely possible this other intelligence is going to notice you.
I don't feel like we have a whole lot of choice, so...
Okay. There's also... You get this strange feeling as though, as you're looking into this strange future and you're seeing this in your head, it's like you can hear a roulette wheel turning. There is some random element that's about to come up that's very important, but you're not sure what it is. But in any case... You dive around these vehicles. You dive around these holes that are being made. You have to, and Lana, you can see it. It's like you're going to have to There's a cart that's going to get knocked over. You're going to have to bull rush through a couple of these faceless workers. Bowl them over in order to get out. Do you tell anyone this?
It's follow me if you want to get out is all I say.
Lana, Colm, Jay, Dustin, you are running. Bolting as ivy-covered sections of building are falling down all around you. There are certain points you can't even see. There's so much dust. Drills are popping up all over the freaking place. People are running. At one point, Lana smashes right into a cart. And then is bolting towards this line of people that are running in your direction. And as Colm and Jay and Dustin are helping, they can help too with this. As Lana, you have kind of foresee that, Colm, you have the opportunity to mow a couple of people down as they pop up in front of you if you wish. A couple of these faceless workers, you do. You bolt through, you know how to do this.
Jay at one point avoids colliding directly with something by splitting and going around.
Nice, yes, absolutely. You just sort of, there is a point where it's like there's this vehicle that's driving right at you, and split, run around it. And then it falls down into this massive pothole that's been created. The river is leaking out behind you. Everything is crumbling. As you dash finally, there's one more jump you will have to make. Dustin, as you are coming around, you can see that there's these little sort of steps that as you kind of, you have to sort of careen over them for a bit. To jump to this other platform that then there are more steps going down, and you manage that.
Okay.
And you hear footfalls behind you as you all are running out of the garden district. Just as behind you, further behind, there is a massive sound, again like an implosion. As that whole end of the garden district collapses. As the river pouring down into it. As the drilling has completed and undermined everything. And I think it is here, as you all dash down the road in a clockwise fashion next to the garden district, bolting toward the shadow district and hopefully ultimately the market district. I think we're going to bring this week's adventure to a close. We will find out next time if you make it to the market district in time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all very much for playing. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you for running.
And thank you all very much for putting up with my reaching for things and my various loading errors that happen in my brain while I try to figure out how to describe things.
You have so much despair. I am disgusted.
Sometimes it takes a while. The gerbil can only run so fast, alas. But here we are. Here we are once again at the end. Not quite 13 o'clock yet. Probably very soon.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter with what's going on. It's basically 13 o'clock now. That
In many ways, yes. Someone jumped the gun!
You know what they say, it's 13 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. If they don't say it, they should. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do our outros then. Are we doing okay? Is everyone okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and do our outros. Thank you all very much for being here. We're going to go around. Please feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final thoughts you have about this session, good favorite moments, things you really like, or what have you. And we're going in reverse order, so we are starting with Rrok.
Good evening, everyone. I am Rock and Roll. That's how I can be found on the internet. Not a lot that I actually do from time to time, other than usually be on here playing games with Jim and all the wonderful people that he gathers to himself. Such as tonight's crew. So, as far as favorite part of the night, it's kind of difficult to really pick any one. There was a lot of really good moments. I especially love all the wonderful puns that Jimbeaux managed to throw out there. Just another great session, having a good time.
Here we are. The Garden District attracts them somehow. There's nothing to be done about it. Anytime there are living vegetables, it's going to happen. But now we will head over to Celeste.
you mean the sentient vegetables get uprooted?
No, they're much too careful for that. Hi, Celeste.
Hi. Of all the things I expected to happen tonight, flirting with a cabbage was not one of them. I am Celeste PLS with way too many underscores on Twitter. I'm Celeste Shepherd here on Twitch. I flirted with a lot of things. Cabbages were not on the list. I don't stream. I show up on other people's streams sometimes. Here I am every Monday playing Jay and having a grand old time. I cannot plug enough Tales to Inspire, the actual play podcast, alternate history where superheroes have existed across our timeline. Episode 19 just dropped today. That was a fun little look at where Geiger Gwen currently is, and she gets to punch misogyny right in the face, right in his stupid face. And it was a good time, and it's a good watch, and it's a really good episode, and you should definitely go watch that and all the other episodes that are up currently. We are rapidly barreling toward the end of season 1, and we're less than 10 episodes away from the end of season 1, and I gotta tell you guys that there's some good stuff to come. Especially knowing that I will eventually, I can't say when exactly, be involved with this podcast and be making an appearance for 2 or 3. So definitely go give it a watch. Other than that, be back here next Monday and we'll see what else Jay and or Mia gets up to. Mia, see, I can't even keep the pronunciation of her name straight, so I don't expect you to. Of course, nothing about this character is straight. As is my custom.
Nice. Excellent. Awesome. And I know I was not expecting the cabbage flirtation to happen either, but it was delightful. Sometimes you just end up flirting with a cabbage. And now we will head over to James.
Yes, I believe that the cabbage flirtation should be the title of tonight's episode.
The cabbage flirtation.
Because that was so fun to watch.
Don't flirt with cabbages is the
I aim to please.
And you score. I'm Jimbeaux, James Silverstein. If you are into hard-boiled detective fiction that also has necromancy in it, go check out any number of my novels available on Amazon. The first one in the series is simply called Necropolis. As for tonight's game, just the surreality of interacting with vegetables, watching a potato fishing in a river. It is not hard to imagine why Colm is still considering that he's just hallucinating all of this. But yeah, it was fun to watch the cabbage flirtation. It was fun to talk to Grandpa, who seemed a lot like sort of a potato-y version of Miracle Max to me. If ever I wanted more time with those particular and with any particular NPCs, it was those, because they were amazing.
Oh my god.
And yeah, that's how things are going.
Awesome. Excellent. Delightful. And finally over to Nash.
Hi, I'm Nash. Tonight was awesome. As soon as I think I have this place figured out, Jim goes, "No, you don't," and gives me lots to think about. So that's always fun. Yeah, I had a good time. I'm theater nerd everywhere on the internet.
Yay. Awesome. All right, and who am I? Great question. I am Jim. Oh, you know what? Actually, so I see I've left myself a note. You need to think about scars that your characters may have picked up, because those are things you may use for later. There are rules for scars that I probably provided a document somewhere, but we'll get into that at some point soon. These are things that you can use to possibly affect rolls and what have you, but it's as protagonists progress through play, they'll explore their personal stories and from a character perspective grow, but players may find themselves they want like an on-sheet thing. Scar is a short description of an important experience the characters had during play. Often not a literal scar, but described in terms of sessions learned. Something that marked your character, basically. If you want, at this point, I'd say you could write a scar for yourself and use that later on to recall it, to basically reroll a dice pool. Or later you can transform the scar, use it up completely for a more potent effect. So those are things to think about. I believe I've also got a document on scars somewhere in the rules documents that I've got for us in the various places that I linked for you. But in any case, now that I've said that, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at Otherdoc on Twitch, Twitter, Hive, Mastodon, and most other social media platforms. Where I'm not Otherdoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. Tomorrow night, provided all is well, we're hopefully going to be coming back to our game of Electric Bastion Land that is run by Sarah. A lot of fun there. We're going to go treasure hunting. If all is well this Thursday, hopefully Lucci will be back, and he and I will be playing more ancient adventure games, computer adventure games. We're getting ready to start Zork 3, just to give you an idea of how far back we're going. So very much looking forward to that. And then on Friday, we have the other story arc currently happening in our Don't Rest Your Head campaign. Things that are happening even as we speak, in the Mad City with this other group, and it may very well be their finale this Friday, depending on what they do. They're trying to get out of the city by 13, and we'll see if they make it. But they have to play a concert really fast first. That's the thing. So we'll see what happens. Then, of course, back around to Monday, 1 week from today, more of this. And we'll see how this little chase goes. As they made it out of the Garden District alive. We'll now have to see what happens as they continue running. So, very much looking forward to that. In the meantime, though, we're going to go ahead and when we hit the end card, we're going to go say hi to somebody. Right now, it looks like Total Party Chill is doing Wander Home. We haven't rated them for some time. Might go over there and say hi. Feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.